during 1 year, when he was killing all these women, we were asking ourselves if this guy has a support from government. Because, in Iran, if you do something bad, they come to you just in a minute. They find you. And the fact that they didn't find him for a year was really strange for everyone. And then he got arrested, and they started just to ask if he really got arrested. Has this support anyway in the government? And then they just announced his execution, and everyone was wondering if he's going to be executed really or not. And then he got executed, and they were asking if he really got executed, and there is only one photo that shows that, yes. But otherwise, except that journalist who wrote about that article, in that article he said, he just says, that was not our deal. And I think Ali just took this idea that was not their deal, and we don't know. And I think that the way he filmed this scene is somehow in between, lines you can read it. He's praying, and then there is a cut, and these friends come into the prison, and then there is a cut, and he's still praying. It's somehow in his illusion,
Maybe was this part of the delusion that he had?
Yeah,
That's what I was mental illness.
That's, you can interpret it in that way.
For me, I felt like he was being lied to just like everybody else. At some point,
you can dream of it,
Exactly. It's like,
yes.
The way I work, yeah. I believe all these emotions exist somehow in you, all these experiences. I think as an actor, I think more and more you have pain and experience of life, it helps you. And I personally, the way I work from 20 years ago, it's always like, I just try to find a character in myself, and I know it exists in me. I need just to reach out to him or her, to her. And maybe for Rahimi was easy because, as I said, I think I know her. I know her challenges. I know that system. But it happened to me in another movie too, that the whole journey of my life helped me to just interpret another character, Every time it depends on the character, but I think somehow I have this, I give this vibe to universe that, cinema brings me these kind of complicated and challenging characters, but somehow they exist in me.
Yes.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations for making this great piece of art. And I'm glad it didn't work out with the other actors that you auditioned. It had to be, I think it was meant to be
another movie.
That's how I think about it, with everything that happened after and in Cannes and everything. Actually, I had a question going back to, first of all, I had an observation about like the multi-layer victimization in that country and society. I'm glad you brought it up that Ali had that in his mind. But I had a follow-up question on one of the questions that was asked earlier. I actually found the character development in this film quite phenomenal. Like you can completely relate to your character, Saeed's character, the wife's character, the officer character, your co-worker, everybody, the son. Like I can totally understand the type of personality that they
I'm
have.
really happy to.
And they don't have to have a lot of dialogue in the film. I can just understand. I can't relate. Maybe that's because I'm from that.
What's the question, though?
The question is that actually part of the script? It goes back actually to his question, but he specifically asked about Saeed's character. I'm asking, I think I saw that in everyone.
Yeah, as I said, we had this space, we had this, everyone had this time to improvise. And I think 80% of lines and dialogues in the script got changed after shooting. So I think everyone had this opportunity to work during the shooting on set, to work on their character better and better, and to find them, deeper and deeper. Because we never stopped, we never been like stuck by the lines, and we could do everything we wanted to do, And the cameraman, the DP, he was just really. We were free to do everything we want to, even in movement. And the camera was just following us.
Are you gonna, because you were casting this movie, are you now, with Cannes and with everything, are you now wanting to act and do more of this and go in this way?
I'm crazy. I think the reason I decided to do cinema when I was 14, it was cinema itself. And I think every aspect of cinema is interesting for me, and I'm never satisfied by being only an actor. I have my production company in Paris, when I started working in cinema, it was my friends are here, sitting here. And I had the chance to know the biggest theater cinema family in Tehran. So I just, very naturally I started to work in short movies of my friends as assistant director or script, and then I made my short movie, and then I went to university and I had this acting school, and I need to touch everywhere in cinema, and
you like the whole process of creation of the whole thing. Yeah. Well, that's an amazing actor to have in a movie, because they're very understanding of the process.
Yeah, sometimes many directors, they don't like it. They prefer someone to say nothing and say, okay, I do it. But I have always comments, and I see it from that side too.
Yeah.
Yes, I have two questions. One is for Zahra, and then the other one is for you. For Zahra, there was a scene where the serial killer felt as if he was looking for the newspaper stories about him. Is this something that actually did happen, where he was feeding off the stories? Could that have had played a role in his, his serial killing?
You mean if it happened in reality?
Yeah, like was he getting high off of the stories? Following
it's like his trophies. I mean, it's definitely like a serial killer thing where they tend to have a desire to be recognized for.
That was interesting.
It was a brilliant aspect of the movie, showing him going every day, like obsessed with it.
And my other question is, so is this kind of a parallel setup where now your movie, Anna, where a girl walks home alone at night, there's that lady where she, preys on men who disrespect women, and then we have a parallel right here sitting. Was that intentional?
I love Ali, and I saw the movie a week ago, and I was like, let me moderate a Q&A so you don't get some dumb white girl that doesn't know what to say.
I'm a big fan of her. And of
Not that I don't like white
their
girls.
cinema is wonderful, so I think there is a connection anyway.
I like white girls. I like dumb ones even, so it's no offense to... Yes.
I just want to say that when you mentioned the universe, the timing of this movie, I mean, it couldn't have been I can't believe 15 years he had this and this at 10 years, and now here we are. The timing is unbelievable. It's great. I think you did a great job. My question is, what is one of the key takeaways you want the audience to get from this movie? I know there's so many different aspects.
I want the audience to get shocked. I'm clear about that.
It worked.
Of course, how crazy life is, how you could never know. It was one thing when you're making it, and then how you just never know what the future holds.
Yeah, we were in TIFF, in Toronto Film Festival, and the screening there were many Iranians, but we had all those critics. And now I got back to Paris, and the day I arrived in Paris, Mashhad Amini got killed, and it's like from that day, everything got changed in my world as a person, but in this movie as well. How we watch it now, how the audience receive it. It's sad, but
Someone new. Yes, sir.
Yeah. My question is still very different. How and why the title of the movie was selected Holy Spider? Because it looks like somehow the symbol of Islamic Republic.
The guy actually was.
As I see right now, that way, turn your head into your right side. Yes.
He was called 20 years ago, Holy Spider, this guy in Mashhad, because he was, he used to just wrap these women in their chador and throw them away. But that's funny, because why the government got angry with us only from 20 seconds of teaser trailer, because of the title, because of Holy Spider, and where the camera tilt up and there is a shrine, and I never thought this is like a spider. What do you say?
A spider web?
But apparently yes, and everyone get it. I'm so stupid, I think. I never got it. Did you know about this image and Holy Spider and the title? And he was like, of course I knew.
Yeah.
I just want to say, very, very powerful movie, and I thought the performance overall for all the cast was incredible. Kind of two questions. One, I noticed there was some interesting parallelism between Saeed and some of his victims. In the beginning, with the kind of first kill, he tells them, I have a daughter, and then later, when his life is at stake, he says, I have a wife and kids. And even the last scene, when she noted with him kind of being told he's going to be free, and all of a sudden the door closes and Rita's going to get killed. It's almost kind of how he would lure the women in. So I was curious if that was intentional, the parallelism there. Maybe I'm kind of, yeah.
I think yes, somehow.
And then the other question was, obviously this is such a tough topic, and did you encounter any issues during pre-production to make it?
We had many problems. This movie exists today for me is already a miracle. But not only because of, Ali wanted to make this movie in Iran, and they never said yes or no, and this is a way to say no. I'm happy for that, and at that time too, I was like, don't do this, Ali, because then you can't do your movie. You have to just listen to them and, censor yourself. And how do you want to make a movie about prostitution in Iran in a right way? It was against even his idea of cinema. But then, no, we didn't have that much, not any danger from government. We wanted to shoot in Turkey, and we did 4 months pre-production in Turkey. I put the cast in Turkey together, and we were about 1 month before shooting when the Minister of Culture in Turkey, they said, you can't shoot here. And I think they were influenced by Iranian government. I'm kind of sure that they sent this script to the Iranian embassy or something, and they've got this order. And yeah, we had these kind of difficulties, but I think the main problem comes after Cannes, when they just heard about this movie exists now, and
I'm glad you're so good at making it.
thank you.
Yes.
Zahra Banu, I want to know, considering what happened to your personal life when I was also in Iran at that time, does it ever have given you a feeling after watching the movie yourself that this was kind of like a revenge to the Iranian government, what they did to you, the brutal things that they did to you? Did it ever feel a little like that ever for you? Or maybe revenge?
I never, when I started working on this project, of course, I never thought it that. Then during the shooting, there is a scene when Rahimi goes, when she is in Saeed's house, and he asks her name. And that was totally improvisation scene, and I just said Zahra. And that was something really, I said it naturally. Ali even didn't hear it, he just heard it after in post-production. And just Mehdi heard it, and I said Zahra because that was maybe kind of reference of my own story with this society. And at that moment I just thought, yeah, the way this society judged me is exactly the way these prostitutes have been judged in this society. The way the authority deal with Rahimi is exactly the way that authority deal with me. Many aspects of the story just came to my head, and I said just Zahra. And maybe only that moment, but I never thought, no, I don't live like that. I don't think like that.
But a lot of women have experienced so many things which was in this movie.
Yeah, that's why I think it was about women, this movie. As I said, different faces of these women, about that society, about that mindset. And that exists even in France, somehow that, that story of killing women or just stopping the women with each, every step they take. This is more universal for me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Can you go more into what your feelings and experiences and thoughts were and reaction once you realized the timeliness of the release of this movie coinciding with the events that are going on in Iran?
Yeah, what did you say?
Can you, Zahra, go into your thoughts, emotions, and feelings once you realized the timeliness of this movie that it should be released?
Yeah, it was.
With the events that are now going on.
I think I have the opportunity to be here and talk about this society and those brave women and, in general, women in Iran. But because of this movie, because I have this movie, it's coming out here in US and Europe, and we are campaigning for Oscar. But I have to say, first day I told you already, I was in TIFF, and when I got back, and the whole European film festivals, they just started a week after, and I didn't even want to move. I didn't, the first festival I went was Hamburg Film Festival. I arrived in Hamburg, and in the hotel in France, I just sat and I started to cry. And I was there, and the distributor was looking at me, and I was just like, sorry, I can't. People are getting killed in my country, and I can't sit here and talk about cinema. It's only a movie. And, it was really hard to start this journey with this movie. But more and more I meet people, more and more we show the movie in different countries. I feel I'm lucky somehow that I have this in hands, and I can just bring this up and talk about it. Otherwise, I had to sit, in my chair at home and just looking at all those images. I think somehow it's good that this movie comes out in this time, but I have to say it's so sad. It's absurd. It's so absurd. I prefer to be there, and I know if I arrive in the airport, they just arrest me. They put me in prison, so I can't help no one. But I really wish to be there in those streets with my friends, not here, not talk about this movie.
But this movie is wonderful, and you're wonderful, and being able to talk about it as we are is important. So I'm happy that we're here. Thank you all for being here. It's been a hard couple of months, and we're all just in it.
And I have to say, it's an honor, Abby, June, and I heard.
You were flawless.
Yeah.
I promise you so.